Acts of sharing have the power to drive life-changing results. My grandfather loaned my parents $10,000 so they can buy their first home. When they were ready to pay him back, he said, "Take that money and send your children to a Jewish day school." So 30 years ago, I walked in to what would become the first Jewish high school in Broward County, Florida. While my 5-year-old self didn't have a choice in attending this school, it was my decision to remain. I became a proud graduate of the 3rd graduating class of David Posnack Jewish Day School. The families of my school had a vision. We wanted to start the first Jewish high school in Broward County, and we did exactly that. It wasn't a popular decision to go to my school. The facilities weren't up to par, we had no prior college acceptances, and our extracurricular programs were mediocre at best. It was at the age of 13 that I had an Ometz Lev moment. Would I take the unconventional path and be part of something bigger than myself? Was I ready to take that risk? The answer was an absolute yes. I can't explain it, but I felt compelled to be part of this journey with my school and make history in Broward County. I'd be one of 31 in my graduating class and attending a high school that had absolutely no accreditation. In order for a school to get proper accreditation, there would need to be 4 graduating years at the school. If my school didn't receive the accreditation, I would be out almost 2 years of high school. Thankfully, we received it, but the accreditation was only the beginning of our rocky journey. My father was on the board of the school at the time, and I still remember him coming home to my mom saying, "The Federation bailed us out." This was the first time in my life that I felt the direct impact of the Federation. The school was in a serious financial situation to the point where we would have to shut down, and the Broward Federation saved my school and my high school education. And for that, I am forever grateful. Although it was not a typical high school experience, we had a lot of fun building what would become the largest and one of the top Jewish day schools in the entire country. And when I say top, I mean number 1 or 2. I feel privileged to have been there in the beginning, starting a journey that would build a legacy forever. While attending my school wasn't a popular choice, I thrived in that small environment. I learned that taking an unconventional path can lead to huge rewards. When the Israelites were quickly fleeing the desert and they approached what seemed to be an insurmountable roadblock, the Red Sea, Nachshon pushed forward. He had certainty that when he was nostril deep in the water, that the sea would split. He had Ometz Lev. Oftentimes, we are on a path that might be uncertain, and it's that leap of faith that creates miracles. My faith in my school's ability to succeed was part of creating history in Broward County. It was at an early age that I knew that taking risks and having a courageous heart would be my path for success. Watching the Federation take its own financial risks with my school was an inspiring moment for me and has been a driving force for my involvement in my local federation. I wanted to be part of an organization that had my community's back. I was 23, and I would start on my path to become a leader in my community by being the youngest person in our Horizons class, Broward County's Young Leadership Development Program. When asked to be the social chair of our YLD when I graduated the program, I was excited and eager to hit the ground running. I was also a bit nervous. I didn't know anyone in our YLD at the time. I didn't know anything about planning social events, nor did we have a YLD director. Working to build a YLD program that flourished and making some amazing friends along the way solidified the Broward Federation as my passion. Watching my community rally over making my YLD a success reminded me of how the Broward Federation banded together when my school was in trouble. I was passionate about creating a young, flourishing Jewish community and inspired daily by our impact. Being asked to become my community's YLG chair was a huge honor. I felt privileged to represent my community, knowing how much the Broward Federation impacted my life, and I wanted to inspire others to feel the same way. I would have gladly stayed YLD chair forever, but after 3 years, I knew it was time to take the next step in my leadership journey. I didn't know much about cabinet, and like many of you, I joined because a current cabinet member asked me. My first year was underwhelming, to say the least. I came in with certain expectations that were quickly not met. I found it hard to connect, and I was overwhelmed by the amount of people at retreat. I left this experience confused and unclear if I was ever going to return. When leadership applications for the next year got released, I thought to myself, you really didn't get much out of your first year. Why not put yourself in a position where you have to meet a lot of people and then see how it goes? I kept hearing how cabinet was life-changing, and I really wanted to feel that same experience. So despite a disappointing first year, and despite all my doubts, I decided to apply for the orientation chair of the class of 2018. It took an Ometz-led moment to put myself out there and apply for this position. But from that moment on, my cabinet experience changed in ways I couldn't even have imagined. I decided I would create an experience I felt was missing from my first year. I became part of a team that would inspire me to give back and push me to be a better leader. The relationships you build here during your time will be ones that will stay with you forever. I know for some of you that might make no sense, but I encourage you to keep an open mind and heart. Having the courage to change your path is something we all have inside of us. Knowing there is a bigger picture that we might not fully understand has been a guiding force for me. I needed to experience cabinet the exact way I did to be able to overcome my own challenges and be here at this exact moment right now. For me, cabinet put me in a position where I could stretch my own potential. As a current board vice chair and co-chair of the Israel and Overseas Impact Team in Broward County, I stand confident that the skills I have learned in cabinet have made me a better leader, a leader that will be there for her community in times of need. Every one of you here today has the power to make a difference in someone's life, like my federation made a difference in mine. Every one of you has the power to become a more impactful leader. And each of you, by the nature of this program, has a connection with each other. Together, we can create something incredible. Together, we can be a driving force in building a flourishing Jewish community, as long as we're each willing to have an open and courageous heart and Ometz Lev.